running back Travis Dye. So he's gone to USC. Your thoughts about the running back position and the next guys that will step in there?
Yeah, I just completed a story for duckterritory.com, kind of the state of the room, because that running back room has had a ton of turnover here in the last couple of weeks. I think, it's funny. I put together shortly after the Alamo Bowl loss a predictive kind of too deep of what things would look like, and none of that information makes much sense anymore. It's kind of all kind of gone out the window just because there's been so much movement. And the funny part is we'll get to the movement here, but a couple of the guys that are sticking around also put their name in the portal and pulled them out. So every single running back on this roster, besides Byron Cardwell, has kind of at least considered leaving. And obviously the most recent being Travis Dye, which is pretty devastating for a couple of reasons. I think first off, one of the most dynamic players in the conference in 2021, especially down the stretch of that season. I for my money, the offensive most valuable player for Oregon was Travis Dye, and I think anybody that would maybe refute that, I would probably have a pretty strong counter, because I don't know if there's much of an argument against it. I think Travis Dye was, arguably the most valuable player in the passing game as well as the run game. For big parts of the 21 season, and the expectation for him coming back was going to eat out a lot of the touches for the running back room. And so the fact that he's now gone really shifts some things, and I think it's also tough because he's going to USC. Let's be real. Oregon fans, you hate to see a player of Travis Dye's caliber leave, especially someone who's been, like you said, 5th all time on the school rushing list. But to see him go to USC is tough. It's a rival team, not on the schedule in 22. But of course, if both teams play well during the regular season, you could see a potential reunion in Las Vegas for the conference championship. So that's hard. And I think you're seeing on social media and certainly on our message board at Duck Territory, kind of the fallout of this. This feels kind of a little bit like a betrayal to some fans. I know that this transfer portal thing is just getting going and people are still kind of dealing with the implications of it. But the reality is players are going to look around. And like I said earlier, the couple of the guys that are back also looked around. They decided to stick it out, and that would be Sean Dollars and Seven McGee, who, along with Byron Cardwell, make up the room right now. CJ Verdell could stay. He could come back. He'd have to remove his name from the NFL draft. Yeah, I think he has till February 4th. But more than likely, Verdell will go. I think that's the expectation from what I've heard. And that means it's going to be these young running backs. And Oregon only has 3 right now on scholarship that are set to be on the team in 2022. And that, of course, is a big concern.
And just to clarify for everyone, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not 100% sure, the January 17th deadline is obviously an early entry to the NFL, which we typically just have the one deadline. But this year, because of COVID and that extra super senior year, there are seniors who are eligible for the NFL draft who don't have to declare normally. But now, since they've got the option of coming back to school, there's that second deadline.
Correct. They have to announce by the 4th of February if they would like to remove their name from. I think they're already considered entered into the draft until they say otherwise. And I've heard Verdell intends to stay in there. Could change. Maybe this news impacts things. I also know he and Travis are really close friends, so I'm sure he kind of had a feel for what Travis was going to do, or he already has had a feel for it. So I would anticipate, these two guys, if you're Oregon fans, have been the focal points of the running game for almost half a decade at Oregon, and now they're both, it sounds like, probably gone, and it's going to be a really new room for Coach Carlos Laughlin, who's taking over as running back coach for the Oregon offense.